diabetes, heart attacks, cancer. We have preventive medication which can be used. So a lot of talks have come out where people can use household items to prevent some of these or to control some of them. Our grandmothers were a rich source of information. Our parents knew a little lesser than that, and we know a lot lesser than that. And perhaps our children may never get that heritage. Here at Vishwa, we have people who tell us how to use the household items like curry leaves or neem or lemongrass for what ailments, etc. Similarly, we have talks on art and culture. We would like to have our Indians to be united, be one, be proud of their culture, their heritage. We have a lot of talks where people from various walks of life have come forward and spoken about various buildings, various dance forms, etc. These are 2 examples I have given. We cover 12 causes like this in our Vishwa talks. As a first step, we want to bring in awareness among the coming generation. Our audience is across the country and sometimes abroad too. We have a rich interactive session after the talk is given by the expert. It's for any person who watches these talks to decide what they want to believe in, what they don't want to believe in, and if they have any clarifications, they're free to ask questions. After this, we want to build the skills of the people of India. Today, India is on the cusp of moving into one of the top countries of the world. But unfortunately, the skills of our people do not match our aspirations. Here at Vishwa, we started out in a small way. We started with computer training. Fortunately for us, Rotary and some people have donated computers to us. We teach 10th class students, inter students and degree students so that when they go for jobs, they don't get rejected. We teach the basics like Excel, Doc, ChatGPT, how to market. The basics we teach, because most of them cannot afford computers and they have no access to them. And similarly, we have something called celebrations. Celebrations is celebrating your loved ones on their anniversaries, on their birthdays, on their death anniversaries. You can contribute to any of the causes that Vishwa showcases on its platform, vishwa.org. You could, Annadanam for instance. There are a lot of people across the country who, when they go to hospitals, they come up from far-off regions and little money they have, they keep it aside for the treatment of the patient. They sleep on platforms, they hardly eat anything. And we give them food every afternoon on Fridays, and it makes a lot of difference. There are similar such fundraisers. Please feel free to celebrate your loved ones with any of these causes.
Vishwa's commitment towards zero waste and the long way to go in achieving the goal begins with our material donation drive. Conducted twice a year during Diwali and Ugadi in Hyderabad, this drive collects clothes, books, toys and other used or semi-used items for the underprivileged. Contributions from over 615 plus families have benefited around 2,800 individuals, providing essential items and support, bringing hope and dignity to them. Through these efforts, we transform the waste of some into the treasure of others, promoting sustainability and community welfare.
Namaskar. A very good morning and welcome to Vishwa Talks. My name is Trishant and I thank you all for attending today's event on Zoom and to those watching on YouTube Live. For those of you who have attended a Vishwa Talk before, a warm welcome back. And for our new joinees, here's a little bit about us. Vishwa Talks is here to create awareness amongst people and to protect our social heritage and to let people make their own decisions. Here we invite experts to discuss and explore diverse opinions, different perspectives, various issues, problems, and their solutions on various fields, including art and culture, healthcare, environment, education, and many more. Each webinar is an interactive session with a deeper understanding of the topic at hand. If you miss any part of the session or would like to go through the previous sessions, please visit our website or Vishwa Talks YouTube channel for a full library of past Vishwa Talks on various interesting topics. We are honored to have with us a visionary leader whose work lies at the powerful intersection of technology, entrepreneurship, and social impact, Mr. Manish Kothari. Manish sir is the driving force behind groundbreaking initiatives in waste management and sustainability, most notably the innovative silica plastic block technology SPB, which has garnered attention for its transformative potential in addressing environmental challenges. Through his ventures Rhino Machines and Mimamsa, he exemplifies what it means to turn ideas into action, especially in ways that align with the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. But Manish sir's impact goes far beyond innovation. He's a passionate advocate for bridging the gap between academia and industry, working closely with schools, vocational training centers, engineering institutes, and business schools to inspire the next generation of changemakers. His mission is clear: to empower communities, reduce waste, promote energy efficiency, and uplift lives through education and technology. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Manish Kothari, a true changemaker whose work is shaping a more sustainable and equitable future for us all. As we dive into today's interesting discussion, I would like to inform the audience that our speaker will be taking questions from you after the main talk. So please leave your questions in the chat box or use the raise hand tool, and we will allow you to ask your questions in person. I request everyone to turn on your webcam for the interactive part of the webinar or while interacting with the speaker. Request you to keep the questions concise and short. Please limit the interaction part to questions, and you can share your experiences, opinions, and perspectives in the chat box. So, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Manish Kothari as he shares his inspiring journey and valuable insights into From Self to Society, documenting experiences for collective well-being. Collective growth, apologies. Hello, sir.
Namaste, namaste,
Namaste,
and
sir.
thank you, Trishanji. So it's a very interesting topic. I think we went over this of why I've been writing so much and what makes me write. So if you could just open up that first slide, Rakesh ji, and you could walk through this journey. What I wish to present is my own experience, which I have gone through, and I hope we are able to connect to this idea of documentation as a way to not only developing ourselves but also impacting the communities. So the first perspective I would look at is, before we get inside more details, look at 4 aspects. Why would I do this? Or why would anyone do this? What is it that we should be doing? And perhaps how is this done? And then look at the impact. So I'll try to walk through this journey. I'll just share my So I hope you are able to see my presentation. Prashant, you can just give it itself.
It's not in full screen though. Should I share the screen?
It's not in full screen.
No, not at the moment. Rakesh, could you please share your screen? Go full screen, please. Yes. Hello, sir. Okay, I think there's a technical glitch. Apologies for that. I'll just recheck with the speaker and get back to you in a moment.
We look at 4 perspectives: why, what, how, and impact, which has
Hello, sir. Could you start again because we lost network in
Sure.
between for a bit?
So when you're looking at this topic of self to society and documenting my experiences, perhaps I would also look at 4 different perspectives of looking at this perspective is to why would I do this? What would I have done? How would I have done it? And what could be the possible impact? So let us walk through this journey. And if you go to the next slide, we'll look at the uh, first thing which I would look at is what if I did not document this? So before getting into what happens when I document, let us look at this interesting aspect, which some I think it's a Greek philosophical approach of finding way to success called the via negativa. So rather than looking at how I can be successful, what if I had not done something and examine the failures before the success. So perhaps if I had not documented, I may not know what I don't know. Because in my mind is very corrupt. No, it can just tell me that whatever I'm thinking is right, and I would get away with it. But when I start writing, it's written in the document and it's there out of my mind. So maybe I would not have known what I don't know if I had not written. And over a period of time, all these experiences would have gone away with me, and I would have regretted not having shared my experience. So these are 2 questions when it came for me to start thinking, why should I write? Since I run an enterprise, I'm part of an organization and I'm responsible for so many people in the enterprise and the growth of the enterprise. If I don't write, then maybe our knowledge would not be known to people. What we do, we don't know known to the people, and our work would not be known. And if, as in Hindi, we say, jo dikta hai, wo bikta hai. So we had not written, it will not be seen. It's not something that somebody will buy. Then when I look back and go out of the enterprise, I'm part of an industrial ecosystem. And I find that I have seen a lot of failures in others from which I have started to understand what I should not do. Now, if I had not written, I would not have shared my failures and successes. And the other industry peers may not get access to those experiences from which they could also learn. And for the community, so when we look at building a province or a nation or a state, it is this collective experiences of failures and successes which build the community. Experiential learning becomes a very important part. So these are some of the reasons which I think we could reflect. And I would like to pause here and ask you to reflect on, would these be some reasons which you would also look at to document? And if you have not documented, would you like to reflect on that? So just think about some of the questions of what you may lose if you did not document. What may be missing if you do not document. Okay. And if there are any suggestions, questions, you can always post in the chat. So going to the next is, then what drove me to document? So one is, I did not document. What did I, so Rakesh, if you could go to the next. So what drove me to document? And I look at those 4 aspects again: for myself, my enterprise, my industry, the industry, and the community. So over a period of time, I realized my purpose has been about giving. So as I have grown up in a family, the values which we have received is about giving. And I somewhere I remember this one very important statement our mother used to tell us is karm kar phal ki ichha mat kar. So that means focus more on the giving rather than without any expectation. And that is something which is very intrinsic to the way I have been living. And so when I'm writing, it naturally happens that I would be living my purpose. So for myself, it is very aligned to what I wish to be or what I want to do or what I connect with personally. And for my enterprise, I would have gone through a lot of experiences and people would join our company who come from different backgrounds. But how would they know how do I take decisions? So this documentation of, and particularly I've started writing my decisions in a very regular method. Sorry. So as I started sharing my experiences and this quality of experiences went on to becoming more structured, my experiences were being transferred to the enterprise, the people around me. So if I go for a service call, how is it that I am interacting? So my visit reports would be not just one line, I visited and I finished, but I would try to give more detail. If I was, and this is something I remember in 97, 98, even many years ago, I have been documenting my experiences, which is somewhere helping the people who are working with me to understand the journey or take that as a reference. So these experiences build my enterprise as well. Again, the enterprise is experiences. So one is the individual experiences, and then I start writing about the enterprise experiences. These enterprise experiences and the journey for a micro small industry or for an MSME or for an individual going through this changing times. For example, today we are living in a world where there are trade barriers coming in. Suddenly there's a COVID coming in, and there's different changes in the environment. And how the enterprise reacts to that is what I started to document, because I knew that somewhere these are some references which industries could use around us, some peer industries who could relate to it. And the collection of these industries again go to the community. So whenever I start to write, I look at this natural flow from myself to enterprise to industry to the community. And this is something which has kept pushing me to continuously document, and the frequency has started going up as I continue. So next slide, please. Now there's a framework which I had the benefit of being having access to an excellent program called the Empretec HERA program in our country. A program under the UN banner, which was helping me understand the cultural context, the thinking context of behind the writing. And so there's a philosophical framework called the Johari framework. Johari, I think, two people who did this research, and it's available. And you look at information sharing from four blocks, an open area, a blind spot, a hidden area, and an unknown area. Now, when I don't share and my experiences stay in the hidden area, others can't benefit. Is again connecting to the reason why I would document. And when I don't share outside my share my experiences, then I will not even get feedback. So this is something which I started to realize. The more I wrote, the more feedback I get, the more feedback I got, and I moved my experiences into open area. My engagement went up with people. My engagement went up. I started to get different perspectives. So I was not limited to what I know in my small area of or circle of knowledge, and I could get a lot of information from peers and people who read what I was writing. And there's a very specific bias which we may be aware of, called the blind spot, because I can't see here, but there's a mirror which can see this part of my face. There are certain areas which I can't see. similarly, there are certain areas of my knowledge or my ability to understand which I cannot see. So I need a mirror. The writing becomes a mirror, way of a mirror, because when I'm expressing it outside of my uh, from my mind, it is going to hand and being written. Then I'm able to get a feedback. I'm able to get a mirror to what I am doing, and this is for my own learning. But as I kept on doing this, there was a certain amount of resonance which started coming in. Resonance is a physical property of two atoms getting the right frequency and sharing. And the larger the open area became, I was able to connect to people who had similar thought processes, who were thinking in a similar pattern, were looking at similar or may have similar purposes, where we were able to align with each other, and it built a relationship. Because one, the people who were reading this were able to see there's a continuous flow of information which is not based on more on the impression side of trying to impress somebody with certain stories, but more to do with the factual and so I was not manufacturing some stories, and I was placing facts as it happened in a simple way. So that transparency led to building of trust. And trust is the stepping stone to building relationships and getting engaged with the community. Today, if I'm sitting here and speaking to you, is I think is one of the reasons why Vishwa Talks found me resonating with what they are looking at. And so this framework of continuously moving myself from the hidden area to the open area and getting feedback, so the blind spots could be opened up, is how this documentation is helping me. So I would request if Trishanji, if you can put out a poll to really find out what stops people from writing, and if you could get some feedback on what are the reasons, what are the top reasons why I would write or I would not write, and if you could reflect on that for interaction.
Request all the participants to interact with the poll that's being displayed on your screen.
So getting those reflections become important, that why do I really write, or why do I really document, or what stops me from writing? So there are 6 different questions, and if you can just go through them.
See, about 15 people have interacted with the first question and about 11 with the second one. Requesting all the participants to quickly interact with the poll and all the questions. So why do you usually write or document? About 6 out of 16 people, 38%, have mentioned to clarify own thoughts. About 31% say to share knowledge with others. About 19% say to create records for work. And about 13%, that's 2 out of 16. Honestly, I rarely write or document. The second question is, what stops you from writing or sharing? About 1% said fear of judgment. 5 out of 12 have said not enough time, that's 42%. Unsure if it has value, that's 1% out of 13. I prefer speaking over writing, that's 5 people out of 13, that's 38%. The third question is writing for express, impress, or resonate. About 67% people, 8 out of 12, have mentioned express, for myself, authentic sharing. 0% have selected impress. About 25% people, 3 out of 12, have mentioned resonate, see if it connects and refines my message. 1% has mentioned, I haven't thought about it this way. Fourth question, if you started documenting today, what would you focus on first? About 42% say personal habits, behaviors. About 42% say work learnings and experiences. 17% people selected 2 out of 12, community or social issues. 0% for creative ideas or hobbies. The fifth question is, do you believe individual documentation can influence communities and society? About 67% say yes, definitely, 8 out of 12. 4 people out of 12 have selected maybe, depends on context. 0% for not really, community needs collective action. 0% for I'm not sure.
I think it's an excellent contribution. Thank you so much for participating. The one reflection which I can share, and perhaps it may come up in the next slide, slides, is if I am able to clarify my own thoughts, then perhaps I may be able to share the knowledge with others much better. So I would like to look at the first preceding the other. Because if I'm not clear of myself, and this is my journey of writing from 2018 to 2025 in a very structured manner in the program Empretech. It's a mindset development program, but also allows me to practice my experiences through well-researched empirical framework on what makes somebody successful or what doesn't make somebody successful. So starting from 2018, initially the program was looking only at capturing small content in a paragraph form. From paragraph, moving into putting into some sort of structure, whether this was an achievement, it was a planning behavior, and what kind of behavior it was. As the program transformed from 2018 to 2020, 2020 saw a few more changes and brought more clarity. And by 9th of April 2020, when this program evolved, the clarity of this documentation is being able to recognize what stimulated me to do something, why did I do it, what did I do, and then at the end there's an element of humility, requesting if what I did is something you may agree to, is where I'm looking for feedback on my actions. And then when I started writing this, what I realized was that sometimes there's a gap between the stimulus and the intent. And that's where those biases were sitting. So the more I wrote, the more was my clarity in how I was processing decisions. And today, for example, when we started our session, the first slide had these 4 elements: why, what, how, and impact. And this is quite similar to stimulus, intent, action, and request. So if I don't know the why, and if I don't know what stimulated me, and I just get into an action mode, is something which I used to do. And this writing has been journey where perhaps I have written more than 3,000 of such decisions in this closed space called Hiraji. And in this year, 2025, was also introducing the element of virtues and values and trying to understand what soul property was driving me. So when I'm trying to write and recognize this, I'm also thinking about myself. And this is something which you can call as a very traditional way India has of Atma Bodha, when you're examining yourself, not as yourself. So when I'm writing, so today if I'm speaking to you, tomorrow if I start to write this, I'll be thinking of myself as a fly on the wall on the person who was yesterday. And so writing has something which is very, very deep impression on my own experiences, the way I wrote, the quality of writing which I did, way I could express is much better. And in the next slide, you'll see this as a there's a scoreboard in the next slide, Rakesh, where you will see that over this 20 from November 2018, 18 November 2018 till now, this is called Seva is a social economic value addition, is how we name it. How I'm able to reflect on my own self. What are those behaviors or competencies which I naturally align to? And this helps me make my own SWOT. The documentation makes my own SWOT. And when somebody wants to collaborate with me, they see the same SWOT. What is this person about? Who is he? There's nothing about whether I'm a technical person or I'm a former financial expert. It's about the who am I, is what the documentation brings to life. And this impact on myself is connected to my own statement, is using philosophy to live the quality of life in community is what drives me today. So then if we talk on the impact on society, this is the impact on myself. The next slide is today, this writing has led me to areas. So in the Johari window, there was an unknown window, which I was not aware where nobody was aware that I had those capabilities. So there are certain things neither I knew nor the world knew. And today I have moved into working in the society as an advisor on the development program, as a professor of practice, collaborating with startups, or partnering in research and development with multiple specialists. And I think my writing has a very, very important role to play. And this is how I feel my documentation is making an impact on the society. And that's why when I look at sustainable development, if I am a part of a larger system, how is it that I can impact the larger system? I think the first is if I can bring clarity to myself, build on myself, contribute to the society, and build on it. So I'm open for any questions that you may have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a really nice PPT. Before we move on to the interactive part of the webinar, the Q&A, I'd like to request the participants to participate in a poll that Rakesh will project on your screens. It'll take 30 seconds of your time for the quick poll. This will help us get to know you better and tailor future topics that we bring to you. A big thanks to everyone who's been a part of this session. Your presence and participation means a lot to us and makes this webinar a success. If you've missed any part of the session, I'm going to paste the link of the YouTube live session recording in the chat box. Also, I'm going to share the article that led to this session. It's on Manish sir's LinkedIn page. I'm going to post that article link in the chat box. You can also check out the rest of the articles sir's written in his LinkedIn page, newsletters and articles. I'm going to share the link for his LinkedIn ID as well. You can save it up in your notes and refer to it when you have time. Okay, Rakesh, you can close the poll once if the interaction gets limited.
Prashant, there's a question which we could take.
Yes, sir. I'll bring up the questions one by one. Yes, the first question is from Mr. Vasant Kumar Maisurman. I have a few innovative ideas for betterment of society environment. I tried, but they took my IP and vanished. Later came to know that they had started as if that idea is of their own, and I was left high and dry. No trust in giving my ideas. How do I handle?
Very interesting, very interesting question. Perhaps we are in the similar space. So first is, I think very important is that first sentence. I have a few innovative ideas for the betterment of society. So the idea was never mine or for me. And if somebody has taken that idea and taken it and commercialized it, then perhaps I should be happy that my idea was good. That's my take on that. Having said that, I'm not saying we should promote people to do this. So there's a technology. This is a similar case with us also, and there's a technology which we developed called the silica plastic block technology. There was somebody had asked me a few 4 or 5 years back, why don't you patent it to protect it? And my reply was, the technology is being created for the environment and for people. So I don't want to patent it. Because if anybody wants to copy, they're open to copy. But what I did at the same time was publish so much information on the public domain that even if somebody patents, I have a repository before the person is patented. So documentation is one of the strategies I use that I have been continuously publishing information, videos, Instagram, articles since 2018. So there's a 2020 YouTube video, which has got almost 6 lakh views on that technology. I know that somebody who has patented this technology recently, and and they are doing this, but I said, hey, they can patent the technology, but perhaps they would not be able to patent my mind because my mind belongs to me. So rather than being worried about somebody has taken it and left me high and dry, look at how one can be more mindful and be structure my documentation in a way that it is there for the community as well as I'm able to give some experiences.
Oh, sir, may I?
Yes, please.
You mentioned about the waving blocks or something like that.
Yeah.
I have gone one step further, and I have already suggested it, and many of them have done it. What I do is I take the plastic, mix it with I'll go one step further. For example, e-waste, how we can handle that deadly waste. So it is very difficult to get back our rare earths that are embedded into the computers, mobiles, etc., like cobalt, nickel, etc., gold, silver also, and some rare earths. It is difficult to get back that kind of a recover. So what we can do is after somebody has already recovered those things, something else remains, plastic, etc. Those things can be collected in a new startup somebody can just get into that kind of an area, take a shed, just go on making them into bits and pieces, take them and mix it with put it into the hollow blocks and seal it. And you can use it as a construction material.
Vasanji, I would only reflect whatever we have thought about.
Mm.
Let us look at this habit of documenting and try to document this entire idea. And document is not only the theoretical part, but also the numbers, because documentation is not about only the theory part. And so when you're looking at building a sustainable business, when you're looking at building something which is sustainable, I must also look at the financial aspect, whether it is viable or not viable. And I would be happy to work with you offline after this session. You
I'll
can-
be, sir, I'll be happy with. I've got a few more ideas.
Yeah.
Another thing is laying of plastic roads. Mix it with bitumen.
So these are all
sand,
technical, sir, these are all technical subjects, which I think we could do this offline.
Yes,
And you could take my contact details from Trishant, the other show talks.
yes, I'll be happy
But
to
my
interact.
only submission is
Yes.
move this from your verbal expression to some sort of document which captures this entire
Prashant, you
understanding
remember,
of this process. And you
Prashant?
can share on my email.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Prashantji, you remember I had forwarded to you and Shivani a vision statement on solid waste management.
Yes.
There are quite a few ideas in that. And I have some more, which I have got in my mind, which I would like to, I'll be happy. And if at all I can get some, I'm not talking about the benefits that accrue to me. I'll be very happy to distribute that to Vishwa for their further developmental activities.
Sure, sir. I'll
that-
reconnect with you post the session. I'll also try to get ma'am connected to you
Okay.
and we
Yes.
can discuss it.
Yes, I can give you.
Thank you for joining, sir.
Okay, right then.
I will share Manish sir's contact details with you shortly.
Yes, yes, please. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Manish.
So the next question, okay, before I move on to the next question, Professor PG Bhatt has joined us. He's also a VishwaTalk speaker and he's going to be doing a session next week. He's mentioned a testimonial in the chat. Excellent, highly relevant. Thank you for sharing your experiences. He's an adjunct professor at RVU. And writing is a thinking tool. It declutters the mind because most others do not document. With early and regular documentation, we have an advantage over others. I would like to discuss with you in person, Mr. Manish Kothari. PG Bhatt, bhatt.pg@gmail.com. He's also shared his email ID. I'll share your email ID with him as well.
Will be happy. Thank you so much.
He's an extremely
No,
knowledgeable
I think
and wise.
he's captured something which I was not able to express. It declutters the mind. So
Yes.
emptying everything out.
Thank you, PG Bhatt, sir, for joining in. I'm going to move on to the next question from Mr. Shmuel. Hello, Shmuel.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
And I remember you from the last session also.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. And I want to ask you how documenting can support poor and low socioeconomic groups of population creation sustainable communities.
Sir, it's a very interesting question. So first is, if I don't know what the problem is through a proper document, how would somebody be able to even propose to assist? So the first step is to share the problem, and they share the problem in a very systematic way. So it's not only documentation, it's also the quality of documentation, how we are presenting it. And this is my experience that I have been able to use documentation as a very important tool to capture the pain and if you are able to express this and share, I would be most happy to see and get into more detail with you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shmuel, sir, for joining us. Sir, I have a question. Do you also go about documenting, say, personal instances of your life and experiences, like emotional or anything like that? Like,
Yeah. So when I'm documenting and I shared some of those impressions in which I'm writing as the Embretech or the HERA gym. It's a mental gym. So I was able to document one of my accidents on what did I do when I met with an accident. So or when I'm challenged with something which is very personal, or whether how do I take care of my health or my so there are multiple the to hold that information. And I think what TG Bhatt has said is decluttering. See, if I'm able to put out this what is going on in my head, okay, as a background and bring out a stimulus, so I feel that I am antagonized is a stimulus. Okay? And then I draw an intent. I wish to find a way to reduce my state of being antagonized. And then what are the actions I have taken? Okay, I went and did some meditation, or I wrote something. That is documentation. It's not very complex. And a lot of people say that I'm not able to write a decision. I said, even if you take a breath, when you breathe, it's a decision which you can document. So I say bad experiences. So experience or experience is only when you start reflecting after the experience, you know whether it's bad or good. You don't know the experience is good or bad when you are actually doing it. And that's separating your self from yourself. And I have been able to document it.
amazing, sir. Yeah, you answered, do you document bad experiences also? Okay, there's another question from Mr. Vasan Kumar. Why is it miserable experience for creating IP registration?
So it's an experience. I don't know whether it's miserable or not.
Miserable.
I'll not use it whether it's miserable or not. So the only thing which I have control on. So one thing about emotional intelligence is look at what is in my own control. And if I start getting agitated or getting anxious about what is not in my control, then my anxiety levels and my tensions and my stress goes up. So documentation has helped me in this aspect also, because I'm writing what is in my control. That's all. And what happens, good or bad, is an outcome. It's not in my control. But the other question, which is related, how to go back and take a decision from our documentation. But if I continuously start documenting my decisions, and then I start documenting the outcomes, which can be good, bad, it will become a referral for me how to process my decision. And I'll improve my decision making. So documentation is a way of improving decision making. You cannot correct the past, but you can use the present.
Right, sir. Sir, theoretically, whatever you are saying is perfect. But when we go to the extent, there are lawyers and others who are. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah.
The thing is, invariably the lawyers and others will step into that. I will have to necessarily consult a lawyer for registration of IP. And invariably, I find that they are asking a huge amount to follow the formalities and other things. which
Sir, my question to you is, why do you want to even register your IP when it is for the environment?
true, sir. At the same time, there are so many environmental innovative ideas that have been registered, isn't it? So I thought
So that's a system. We have to understand the system, and the system. I and you can't change the system. The only person I can change is myself.
sir, it's called Vyavastha, isn't it? You can
So-
understand Vyavastha? That is system.
Vyavastha.
Vyavastha. It should be better Vyavastha. Instead of that, I'm being pushed into following all sorts of unwanted experiences, which I wouldn't like to.
Have you been able to document this experience somewhere and write?
You mean my experience or the innovative idea?
No, this experience of struggle. So
I have followed
if you
it.
go on my LinkedIn, if you go on my LinkedIn, we had an experience of a financial struggle with one enterprise. I started to write on LinkedIn, and within 1 month, I got my resolution.
Mhm.
It's just about using facts, no stories, just facts. This is what has happened, and place them in the public domain. When normal doesn't work, put your information in the public domain and let the system work. It's a very powerful tool, sir.
Right, sir. At this age, I'm finding it a little difficult to be that kind of a my experienced person, because digitalization has stepped in late, and my mind is yet to catch up with this. Anyway, thank you for the information.
Thank you so much, sir. So there's a question from Ms. Priyanka. How to go back and take decision from our documentation?
I think I already
Yeah,
told
okay.
and she responded.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah.
those decisions when I document, the experiences help me improve my own decision.
So do you prefer like typing down stuff onto a digital medium, or you prefer first penning it down into a notepad or something like that? Like,
No,
that's a very vague
I-
question, but
I have my habit of writing on a pen and paper has gone away.
gone.
But
Same actually.
I do keep making some notes like this,
Amazing. Yes.
some points. But when it comes to writing, my speed of typing is very much higher than my.
Much. Yeah, so you sort of make a mood board and a brainstorm thing on a notepad and then move on to a digital medium and
And
type it
now
down.
I started using the AI tools for bouncing board and documenting also. This entire poll was made from questions put to the ChatGPT and computed. So it's not my own English, I would say.
It is a nice tool to help us with our work.
So I use it as an assistant, not as
Yes.
it's slave, not the master.
Yes.
That's something you have to remember. There's a question: how to assess the impact of life skill training on youths? I can't understand this entire question. So Nirmalji, if you can just share more details of what exactly you wish to ask. It's a very broad-based question. But what I can share is what we are doing right now is there's a competency framework of the way one person behaves. Okay. And I started using that as a way of understanding youth, how they behave. Are they, and there's a set of virtues, 24 virtues, 10 competencies, and their decision making. So I look at how they document, and from that documentation, I'll start to understand where is it they are not having, where they may need some support. So if you use documentation as a tool for youth, and recently I'm teaching PLC or industrial automation in engineering college, and the students did a project. As in, can you document the process? How did you arrive at this outcome? They're only sharing the outcome, but they're not writing the process. And I've not found any of them doing that. And so my reflection is that their life skills are very poor. So life skill is something which you can recognize by the way people respond. And that is what you can assess.
I hope, Nirmal sir, that answers your question.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I've also unmuted you, so you can also speak if you'd like.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
first, good afternoon, sir.
I am running this life skill program in schools among youth. So I had seen rude behavior among the students. So for that I have started and trying how to address that rude behavior among the students. So for that I have prepared one self-appraisal form so that they can self-aware themselves about their attitude, habits, and after that, I want to assess their outcome. How can I assess their outcome? After my program, how can what
So-
impact I have?
So I have this question, sir. If I were to look at this framework, I would first list the outcomes which I want to measure before I make the design of the program. What is it that I will measure and how will I measure? So when we look at key performance indexes, KPIs or those, there's always a struggle. So we keep defining this is what we should do, but I don't know how to measure it, whether somebody is doing. And particularly when it comes to something which is very intangible, like a life skill, it's not going to be very easy to measure it. So this is one reflection. So first is to derive a framework on how would I measure, and before giving to the students, can I do this myself for myself? So it starts from documenting for self. So am I able to document as per that framework for myself and present it to students? This is how I behave. Children learn from emulation. Let us understand. Children learn from emulation. They learn from the environment around them and not by somebody telling them what to do. They will learn very fast from what is going around them. So whenever we talk of students, I say the people who I wish to work with is the parents, not the children.
Right.
So if the parents behave in a certain way, the children are going to perhaps emulate them, or the people around them, parents or the people with whom they are regularly. So if I have to evolve a strategy of building life skills in children, I look at a strategy of building life skills in the system in which they are living, not in the children alone. That's
hope
right.
Nirmal sir-
Impact.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nirmal sir, for joining us. Sir, so I think we've covered all of the questions that are there in the chat, and Mr. Vasant Kumar wants to interact
He
again.
has written a very important feedback that ChatGPT our brains may stop working after some.
Yeah, Mr. Mayusha wrote that. He's from Barodara.
Yeah.
And
But I'll also say that the more I write and I use ChatGPT, I'm also training ChatGPT
yes, you're training the algorithm.
So algorithm. The only thing I have to be very mindful of what am I taking from that, and am I using my own head or I just copy pasting. So that's that. It also needs I have to lift my own discernment.
There's a guest asking, is ChatGPT. Yeah, Vasant sir. Please.
At the same time, yeah, AI, ChatGPT, and all these things have got lots of worms into my head. What I want is something, and they give me a sack full of ideas. Whether to take it or not is a big problem for me. Anyway, I would prefer to use my own head and control my own artificial intelligence or just intelligence and arrive at my own conclusions. That's the best thing. And with regard to, I agree with you, Mr. Manish, about life skills. And Mr. Agarwal also has pointed out. See, I'm doing this for the past 5 years. Life skills. Are you employable? That is, most of the children who are in the 8th, 9th, 10th grade, they either drop out because of poverty or due to circumstances which they cannot continue with that one. So immediately after that, they will get into bad habits, bad company, drugs, smoking, etc., etc., and then they become a big nuisance to the society. Instead of that, when they are in the 10th standard level, best thing is to equip them with life skills. Are you employable? Nobody gives you free lunch. So you will have to work for it. When somebody gives you an employment, they expect you to be good enough in your work. So your SWOT analysis, which will be conducted during that time, including political initiation. I make some of them stand up and say, you are appearing for the MLA post. Please tell your voters what are the things. There I'm creating some sort of interest in the minds of the children that there is an opening in politics also. At the same time, they must be leaders. They must have vocabulary skills. They must be confident in themselves.
Sir, I 100% agree with you. The only thing which I would like to look at is, am I employable rather than are you employable? If I
Pardon?
shift focus from you to I, okay? So am I able to demonstrate the skills which are needed for me to be employable and will give them a perspective for emulation?
That's exactly what I'm doing, sir.
Yeah, so, because I have found today's children are much more aware of a lot of things with us, social media.
Good
when
and
I
bad.
interact with, and I interact with school children. The only thing which I present is about myself. This is what I am, what I do, or some experiences, rather than only telling them what to do, because those experiences, and that's why I think again it goes back to the very basic fundamental of documentation. If I'm able to document my experiences which have brought me to the place where I am, they can make a choice whether this is the route I want to take or not. And do we have those documentation of life lived experiences of people, whether it is your experience or Trishantji's experience or my experience, available for children? These are the journeys of different people. Figure out what you wish to be.
True, sir, but who has got present day children? They don't have the patience to read the documentations. They go to ChatGPT or within a matter of seconds, they get whatever they want.
So
Documentation
documentation can be photographic,
digital-
it can be video,
digi-
it can be photographic, it can be videographic, it can be
Anyway.
multiple.
can be anyway.
True, sir. No,
Documentation
what I'm doing is interact with them directly and create an interest in them, that whatever we have done, we will just give it to them. That's what I'm interaction through. Okay, anyway.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
debatable. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more
Uh,
question.
Yes, sir. Before we move on to the question, I'd just like to quickly officially close this session and give details about the upcoming talks that we have. So we have Mr. PG Bhatt, Professor RVU, adjunct professor from RVU. He's going to speak on 13th of May, 2025, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. He's going to be talking on emotional literacy, ancient wisdom meets modern psychology, understanding stroke economy. Post that, we have Mr. Himanshu Tilwankar, who's a sustainability and environmental management expert. He's the director of Envirotech Solutions. And he's going to be talking on circular economy and plastic waste management, something Manish sir also is an expert on. And that is going to be on 20th of September. The previous one, I mentioned the date incorrectly. I think it's 13th of September by PG Bhatt sir. And post that, we have Himanshu Thiruvankar sir on 20th of September. So moving on to the next question. Oh, thank you, Rakesh, for sharing the creative. Yes. We'll get back to you with the updated creatives and registrations link by the next session. Also, you'll have PG Bhatt sir's registration link available in the chat itself. There's a question from Priyanka ma'am again. Is ChatGPT environmental friendly? It's
I know it is guzzling a lot of energy. I know there's a lot of carbon footprint
yes.
which it has. Similar to so many other things.
Other things, yes, absolutely. So I think so. How efficiently you use the tool makes it like you leave lesser carbon footprint. Like I've seen a lot of people writing greetings to ChatGPT. Hello, ChatGPT. How are you? And all that kind of stuff. And thank you. So all those things actually leave. It takes more effort.
I think it is all about our habits, and
Yeah.
unless we really understand sustainable SDGs, this is about SDG 12, responsible production and consumption, into our habits of being mindful of the resources which we use.
Yes.
We will not be able to. So today there's ChatGPT, tomorrow there will be something else.
Something else, yes, absolutely.
Like when you get free Wi-Fi, we use it too much. When we have to pay for Wi-Fi, we stop reducing it.
Yes.
Still our life goes on. So it's all about a habit. And it has nothing to do with, it's not only to do with what people are making.
Mm. True.
So, Ashnaji, I've shared my email ID and phone number because I think what you wish to look at, how to tools for documentation, we can have a conversation. I can help and share how I do it. If that is a good reference, you could use it.
Rachna ma'am, kindly share save the number, and I request to keep the contact with you. I was just going through the question actually.
So in short, it's also about processing the information. Okay? What is coming from the environment? How fast I am able to process it, move into an intent, and how do I act is about training your fast brain. There are two brains, there a slow brain and a fast brain. So it's just about practice. It's like playing table tennis or hockey or cricket. You need to be good at anything. All you need is practice.
Rachna ma'am, I've shared the contact details with you again in the chat. Kindly save it. And yes, she says, thank you for your insight, sir. It makes sense. I think with that, sir, we can close our session. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and the PPT, all the knowledge that you've given us. I hope everybody visits your LinkedIn and also shares it around because it is something very it's got a lot of knowledge and wisdom in it.
No, there's somebody told me, why don't you write a book? I said the book is a project we'll finish off today.
True.
And my life is still going on. So I
Yeah.
don't finish a book, I'll just keep writing. And somebody wants to pick up the article, they can take it. There's no IP.
I hope someone else will also write a book on you, sir. It's amazing to have you for this session, and I hope to have you again sometimes within a couple of months or something. I will keep going through the articles you write and newsletters that you write. I've shared in Sir's LinkedIn details in the chat box. I've also shared the session's YouTube live recording so that you can share it with your friends and families and anybody who could use help from documenting and spread their word, help the community sustain. I hope you all enjoyed the session. I hope to see you all next week, sir. I'm going to project a breakout room link to you on your screen shortly. Rakesh, kindly project the link to Manish, sir. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining in. Hope to see you again next week. Thank you.